And ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to College Football Convo Through the Tunnel. I'm your host, Shawn Stewart, and it is the first broadcast of this college football season for week one. I'm your host, Shawn Stewart. We are
We
very
made it.
happy.
We
And the
made it. It
great
was a
thing
long
is,
off season, but we made it.
and the great thing is about the show is this is the first show we're ever doing it on StreamYard. So I like this platform even more better than the other previous platforms. So how you guys doing so far this college football?
Oh, don't mind me. I just woke up earlier today. I'm gonna take a drink of my coffee if nobody minds.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm drinking water just to keep me hydrated.
Man,
I might have to switch to a harder coffee if this is going to be the case.
Oh my goodness. What type of
man,
coffee you drink?
I can't tell you. It's a secret. It's a secret.
Okay.
It's what champions are made of. Okay. It's what champions are made of.
Well, he gets this
Exactly.
once every 40 years, so let him have his moment, okay?
Hey James, we just talked about you of a consistent head coach. Okay, so just pipe down over there, son.
Hey, whoa, okay? It's not my fault the Haslam's make bad decisions, okay? It's not my fault. Look at the Cleveland Browns. That's what I was dealing with for 10 years, all right? So get off me.
Man.
Hey, looks like we have some jokes right now. But anyway, we have
We got bigger jokes. It's called Auburn.
Oh,
Facts.
Lordy.
Facts.
I got it.
Facts.
I got to hear about that later. But we do have a big game so far. So right now, like around like noon, is Nebraska and Northwestern, which we're going to talk about actually about to start in 2 hours. Actually, matter of fact, and then we're also going to be doing like the over under odds. That's like the end of the show, by the way. So let's get started with the Nebraska and Northwestern. Now, this game is going to be playing overseas. And there is one coach in particular that is in the hot seat right now, and that is Scott Frost. So since he took over for the Cornhuskers, they are 15-29, and they have not posted a winning season or a bowl trip. And if you remember last year, they had issues with closing out games, which was like, oh my goodness, this is not even good. So when you look at this game between these two, what's your it's like a must win for them. Let's be honest.
Caleb, I was going to let you jump
Oh,
in
I
there.
agree. You can't go overseas and lose to a team that you should beat. You stated they had problems closing out games last year. New quarterback in Casey Thompson, new offensive coordinator Mark Whipple. You don't have to deal with Adrian Martinez and his inconsistencies and his tendency to fumble the football. That's now Kansas State's problem. But I expect this Nebraska team to be improved. James, I don't remember. Did I have them in the Big Ten championship game? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did, but you had them at like 6 or 7
Purdue.
wins.
I had Purdue. I had Nebraska at like 7 or 8 wins. So yeah. I expect a completely improved Nebraska team.
I expect the same thing because they don't have the Jarrett Garantano of the Big 10 or the Big 12, whatever you want to call him. I mean, Adrian Martinez was always the best stat pattern in the world, but never the best quarterback ever. So he was kind of average, aka trash. So you don't have that. I think Casey Thompson got a really bad rap in Texas. I think he was a really good quarterback there, depending on the situation. I mean, that place was a dumpster fire when he left. So I mean, I think Sarkisian has got it better. However, yeah, you have to win this game for Nebraska. This is a must win, not only because it's Northwestern, who I think is going to be an improved defense this year. They just don't have the talent. It is all about Jimmys and Joes sometimes, and with Northwestern with their academics and everything, you can't have a team that you're supposed to be competing for the Big Ten West championship and lose to Northwestern. It's just impossible.
I just think that both of these teams are over their heads. I mean, Northwestern used to be really good, but last year they fell off. And as far as Nebraska is concerned, I mean, we're not talking like national champions. We're just trying to get back to respectability. But this is an important game for both teams. And bottom line is, whoever wins, basically, their season's going to take off in earnest here, and whoever loses is going to be trailing behind. This is a big conference game for both teams, and I expect both to be at their best, even though it's overseas. But that would be whoever loses, that would be a big embarrassment.
And then
just
if you
to
look
back off that, I got one final point. I think it's bigger for Nebraska because
I agree with there.
If Northwestern or If Northwestern or Pat Fitzgerald ever wanted to move on, they had plenty of opportunities. So it's not like this is make or break for Northwestern because they're not going to get rid of Pat Fitzgerald.
And then if you look at the schedule for Nebraska, because like on the September 17th, they got to play Oklahoma. And then they got to play Purdue on the 15th. So, and then they got to play Michigan on November. My Michigan Wolverines on November the 12th. So this is not an easy schedule if you look at Nebraska's schedule. And then you're also in the same division with like Wisconsin and Iowa.
But the rest of that conference is actually, I mean, they are lucky they're in the Big Ten West, which is a little bit softer this year.
Exactly.
So you do have like Minnesota should be down this year. Kansas State, we don't know exactly what they're going to be doing, but it is a big game. However, I know Caleb on our show, we have been talking about how maybe Michigan is due for a down season and might actually turn into the Florida of last year. So
yeah, but that September is such a cupcake. They're going to go into October 4-0.
But I don't know if Nebraska is able to win going into, because that game's at Lincoln, right? Or is that at the Big House?
No,
it's in the Big House. It's in the Big House.
Okay, so it's at the Big House.
They played in Lincoln last year.
Okay, so and if I remember correctly, Michigan barely won that game. If I remember correctly, the year they go to the college football playoff, they beat them by like 3 points or something like that. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch if you say Nebraska, improves on a couple of their games and they're able to beat Michigan, because I mean, I don't know what you're going to see from Cade McNamara and all that stuff this year. That whole QB carousel is going to be crazy.
Now let's go on with the next topic. Now ESPN is no longer going to be doing the Big Ten after their contract expires. So right now, Fox is the noon. CBS will get the 3:30 because that's going to be after when their SC contract is over, and then NBC is going to do the primetime game for the Big Ten at 7:30. And I would have never thought NBC would ever even do Big Ten football and basketball, more likely. So when you look at that TV contract in the future, what do you think about that? Because Fox owns like the big percentage of the Big Ten network, because they really started that, by the way. And then CBS was just looking to replace. So this is like a great win for CBS to like even get a college football package, since they're not going to be doing the SEC no more.
I think it's interesting, and this is something I've not heard, and I just kind of thought of while you were talking about this. The Big Ten has now moved to basic cable, where anybody that has a TV can watch. Because you get Fox, you get ABC, you get CBS, even on a basic TV, on a basic package. So it almost, if you can't get anything else, it's going to force people to start watching the Big Ten. We're SEC guys down here, but we don't down the Big Ten. It's going to be warranted, especially with USC and UCLA moving into the conference next year.
Right.
But and the SEC has the same problem. It's a top-heavy conference. The only reason everybody's watching Northwestern Nebraska at 12:30 on a Saturday is because there's nothing else on today. If this game was played at this time next week, nobody's going to map out their day watching this game.
I agree with that. And also the big thing with the NBC contract, who else is on NBC exclusively?
Notre Dame.
There's nothing on Saturdays. Actually, they don't even have anything programmed on Saturdays except for like Notre Dame or something.
Notre Dame football. So this leads into, I think, the next round of what we call the musical chairs that's going to happen. And the biggest domino to fall will be Notre Dame. And does this give them the opportunity to move that NBC contract over to the Big Ten?
I saw Notre Dame agree to I had to go find it, to stay independent for NBC to have their broadcasting rights. So NBC is willing to pay for Notre Dame to stay independent.
I could see that, but I mean, it's going to be rough. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
But I was going to say, I don't know how they would keep the Notre Dame contract, because, sometimes NBC does Notre Dame football at night, and unless they're planning to move them like during the day or something, that's probably the only way it would work. But NBC only does Notre Dame football at home. They don't do their road games.
That's
so
right.
You have to understand that unless they're planning to do it like during the day, then it's not going to work. But NBC still has to work that out with Notre Dame as far as another contract or so at some point, though. There's only like 2 years left on it.
Can't wait to be watching NBC on the USA or Bravo networks here coming up next in a couple of
Right.
years.
Because they don't have the NBC Sports Network no more.
Yes, they don't.
Because they used to do a lot of stuff on that network. They used to do NHL, Premier League. What else they did? Track and
NASCAR.
field, stuff like that.
NASCAR.
Well, they still do. They don't do NASCAR as much. They do now. They used to have the NBA. They used to have MLB. They've kind of moved to more of a traditional TV, where they pick up some sports. NBC used to be the place to go to watch sports.
Yeah,
you
they
look at
were.
all these old highlights, and there is what is his name?
You got the John Tesh Classic for the NBA on NBC.
NBA, MLB on NBC. NHL used to be really heavy on NBC. It's not so much anymore.
Well, because they moved to ESPN and TNT.
So
Exactly.
But no, I'm excited to see this move out because obviously the two biggest dogs right now in college football is the SEC with the ESPN schedule, with the ESPN contract now, and they have Fox also, correct, Caleb?
who?
SEC is it Fox?
No,
and
it's ESPN and ABC.
No, NBC's on
Okay, so it's just Disney. Okay,
Yeah,
so you got Disney versus everybody else.
Yeah, that's basically what it's down to.
It's Disney versus everybody else.
All these TV people, all these TV people that lost out on the Big Ten deal, there's still the Big 12 media rights deal is coming up. The Pac-12 media rights deal is coming up. And the ACC, unless something happens, is pretty much stuck. But you still have the Big 12 and the Pac-12 in the next few years that are going to need TV deals. So it's not like, I was listening to I was listening to our boy Josh Pate. If you know, talk about these people have money in front of them. They're not going to not spend it. They're not just going to decide, hey, it's not Big Ten, so we don't want it.
Well, the ACC, that might be a problem because they already have a media rights deal going, but they're still going to be going towards 2036. So the ACC is not really an option. Only the Big 12 and Pac-12 is an option. But what's going to be left in the Pac-12 anyway when the Big 12 comes get the teams? I mean, we're here at Oregon and Washington wants to go to a Big 12 possibly, and there ain't going to be nothing up in the Pac-12.
Well, I mean, I right now they're trying to unite a front. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll see. Does it last longer than the Big 12? The Big 10, ACC, Pac-12 alliance? We'll see which lasts longer. But I agree. I don't, and especially losing your two top dogs in the Pac-12, you're not going to be able to bring anybody in of that caliber.
And also, you got to add that the Big 12 is adding BYU,
Cincinnati,
and UCF also.
And
not
Houston.
a bad idea.
So you're not going to make up the star power, but you're telling me you wouldn't watch a Pac-12 that had the 10 teams it's got now in like a Boise State and a San Diego State?
They need something like that because Boise State is not like it used to be.
Boise State was in the running for the first round of alignment for the Big 12. And there were reports out that if the Big 12 ever expands again, that Boise State's going to be in the run, basically going to be in that conference.
Oh, that's something new I've heard. I never thought of.
It also adds a very growing market, which is Idaho. There are a lot of people moving there to Boise and Idaho Falls. So you're going to be adding a growing TV market.
The other two teams that people know in Idaho are on the FCS level. So at the FBS level, Boise State is the only team that's on the FBS level in that state.
It is the only
and it is 10 miles from Washington State, from the Washington State campus.
No, that's Idaho. That's not Boise State. Boise State's on the other side of the state.
That's not what I heard. Oh, you're right.
It's Moscow.
But still, there was going to be a natural rivalry there between Boise State and Washington State.
It would be. You have that. You would also have the Oregon State rivalry as well.
Right.
It's really close.
Right. As long as you don't let LeGarrette Blount around any of their players, we're okay.
Right.
If
here's another one. There's several coaches that are making their debut. There's a couple of several coaches this week. Another one that's not as familiar is Jim Mora, not the older Jim Mora, but the younger Jim Mora.
Playoffs.
Come on, playoffs? Not that Jim Mora. This is not your mom and dad's Jim Mora, okay?
Hey, no. I grew up with Jim Mora Jr. as my defensive coordinator of my San Francisco 49ers. So when Mariucci was the coach. So
it's funny that you bring that up because you were talking about UConn, and James and I were talking one day, and we started talking about the year Kansas kids. There was a year where Kansas and UConn made a BCS bowl in the same year.
Remember that.
Okay.
Shouts out to Akeem Talib.
Shout out to the Mangino. Okay.
Yes, the real man genius. The real man genius.
Now, the last time he ever coached a college football team was UCLA from 2012 to 2017, which he was 46-30 and then 29-24 in the conference. But those last two seasons, 16 and 17, they didn't make it to a bowl game. But last season, he was like an offensive assistant. So if you looked at like in the previous years of UConn football, they've been very terrible for the past 3 seasons. So this is kind of like a interesting moment for UConn football because we don't talk about UConn football like that because we're familiar with their basketball program.
Who had a bigger fall from grace than Randy Edsall? I mean, when in the early 2000s, that guy was the hottest name in coaching.
And then he went to Maryland and forgot what he was doing.
He forgot what he's doing. And I want to talk about Jim Mora Jr. I think his UCLA, even Josh Rosen, he was there when Josh Rosen was quarterback.
Yes.
I thought he's a good X's and O's coach. He is a terrible recruiter, and hopefully, maybe with the drop down in talent and competition, he might be able to actually coach those talent up a little bit more.
I agree. I don't know from a name perspective how much better UConn could have got with Jim Mora just on a namesake. What do we expect from UConn? 2-10. Oh, and by the way, they're going to Conference USA next year. So,
yikes!
Congratulations.
And this is not, and I'm into, this is not Conference USA we're used to. This is kind of the revamped Conference USA because Southern Miss left. Who else left out of Conference USA? Southern Miss left.
Memphis.
UAB left. Some went to the American. Some went to the Sun Belt. So basically, where the Conference USA had like 5 teams. So next year they're moving into Conference USA, and Conference USA is adding top FCS teams: Jacksonville State and Sam Houston State. So I like it for Jim Mora because there's not going to be, you got to go win 8 games. Go win me 2 games, and let's see if we can get better.
They're on the Vanderbilt level right now, and that's just win a game.
Basically what it looks like.
Don't lose to UMass, I think should be their slogan for the year.
Don't lose the food and don't lose to the Minutemen.
Yeah, don't lose the food and don't lose to UMass.
Because they actually got a quarterback. He's from Penn State. Is Taquan Robertson.
Okay, so yeah, they got Taquan Robertson from that. He transferred up there from Penn State because
Sean Clifford's on his 37th year of eligibility.
Good God. Him and freaking how many other of these quarterbacks are these players are going to be like there for forever? I mean,
wasn't Jarrett Garantano for a lifetime at Tennessee? It felt like.
Yeah. Well, for some of us, it was okay. I mean, he finally left. Kellen Moore at Boise State. Yep. I mean, you have these guys here that
Case Keenum spent 7 years or 17 years at Houston.
Yeah,
going for 6,000 yards every year,
and he's back. Man, isn't he like head coaching somewhere now?
I don't know. Shout out Dan Orlovsky on the UConn thing, though.
Oh, God.
Don't run out of the end zone, sir.
The issue what I have with UConn is they're more likely going to struggle on the road. I can see them winning a lot more home games, but the road games, I'm very concerned about them with UConn. Right.
I haven't even looked at their schedule, so let's play that game while we talk about them because I don't even know who they played this year.
Actually, I can look that up right now.
I got it right here.
Right quick.
Here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can Google on the fly.
Yeah, we what is this? Producing in color? Is that what this is?
This is what they call it.
All right, so let's look. Do we think UConn's going to beat Central Connecticut?
God, I would hope so.
Okay,
they should.
All right. Do we think they're going to beat UMass?
God, I hope so. You better.
Okay.
Oh, that's a coin flip.
Because if you do that, you go 2-10. You got Utah State, Central Connecticut, Syracuse, and then you have Michigan and North Carolina State in back-to-back weeks on the road.
Go get that money.
Fresno State,
Go State.
FIU, Ball State, Boston College, UMass, Liberty, Army.
So
Give me 2-10. If he gives me 2-10, we'll give him our coach of the year. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds
I
like
think they can actually win 3
especially
games.
with
I
the
don't.
sucky record.
This is not your dad's FIU anymore. FIU is an absolute dumpster.
No, FIU hired Mike McIntyre, who
Okay.
the only year that Colorado was relevant was the head coach there. Do not sleep on Mike McIntyre and FIU.
They had to borrow pads last year.
I'm not saying FIU is not historically terrible. Hashtag shout out T.Y. Hilton. But Mike McIntyre can coach them up. He coached them up at San Jose State and won the WAC or the Mountain West.
Mountain West, sir.
And shout out to the WAC. If you know, you know. And he took Colorado to their only Pac-12 championship game.
Now we do get to also watch Connecticut get absolutely destroyed by Mr. Drumby Drum himself in Liberty.
I would probably be more likely to watch Arkansas and Liberty over Connecticut and Liberty. I apologize, Jim Mora, with my sincerest apologies.
And that game is going to be on FS1, by the way, at 4:00 p.m. Eastern time. For those of you who want to know about that.
Do I have enough TVs in my house to watch all this?
Yo, you know, I'm gonna be listening to this going to Asheville this weekend.
Oh
okay?
yeah, you're right. You did get the raw end of the deal there, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be listening to all this on radio. Okay,
I hate that.
Awesome.
This is gonna be good.
I hate that for you, James.
And there was something you said, Khalid, last night. You want to talk about the EA Sports NCAA football game, which was supposed to be coming out next year, which I can't wait.
Oh, woosah. Okay, so July of 2023, we will have a brand new college football game. There's a couple of things that we know. Road to Glory is going to be in there. Dynasty is going to be in there. They're going to have some sort of college ultimate team that's going to be in there. As far as I know, all the FBS teams are going to be in there, even Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State, and James Madison. Shout out the Fun Belt.
The best belt.
And the other thing is EA Sports is going to pay a current athlete to be their first title, their first cover athlete. They're not going to use former Heisman winners.
Okay.
So I think whoever wins the Heisman this year could be on the cover for the game next year.
Awesome. Because
I'm excited for this. You have no idea.
I don't pre-order many games, but that would be a pre-order and like a whole week request off.
That is a midnight. That is a midnight wait. That is a. I'm going to set my clock to a New Zealand time zone.
I am going to order. I'm not only am I going to pre-order, I'm going to irresponsibly spend my money and buy the. Everything nowadays has an early release. I'm going to buy that too. I'm going to be so irresponsible with this game. It's not even going to be funny.
Shouts out to Little Dicky. Don't save that money.
And it's a very huge base, and they have a very huge fan base.
A huge fan base. Barstool was literally live streaming to millions of people for Big Cat to poorly play NCAA football 2013. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
Shouts out Coach Doug's.
First of all, shout out to the modding community if you've played NCAA 14. They have kept that game relevant for 9 years now. So shout out to them.
Right, because that was the last time they ever EA Sports produced a college football video game. I wish they do one for college basketball, but I don't think that
Oh God, I remember that one back in the day. Like he started like lower.
They modded that one too, by the way.
And build up. I used to do the 3-2 freaking zone the entire game.
All right, Jim Boeheim, chill out. All right.
Damn right. You're damn right.
Sean, this question is for you and you only. Who was the cover athlete on 14?
Oh, Denard Robertson.
There you go. Your man, Denard Robinson out of Michigan.
Thank you. It would have been embarrassing if I didn't get that.
Sadly, the last cover athlete.
Yeah.
James went AWOL. That's fine. Let's play a game, fellas. I'm going to pay for pops. You know it's serious. You know, we tell around time we're going to fake it till we make it. Okay, well, this is called fake it or make it. Are these coaches going to fake it, or are they going to make it through the year?
All right. I would like
At
to hear
Arizona
those
State,
lists.
we have Herm Edwards in his 5th year. He is 25-18. Is Herm Edwards going to fake it, or is he going to make it?
I think he's going to fake it.
I agree. James, fake it or
Like,
make it. Herm Edwards.
You
Like, I don't
play
have
to
confidence in
win
Vanderbilt.
the game, and I don't think he's going to have enough. However, the only reason why I say he's going to make it is because Arizona State is going to be completely irrelevant and lost in the woods if that happens. I mean, they might give it up for college hockey. I mean, I'm honest.
Shout out Arizona Coyotes. I just think that there's too much off-field scandals, too much off-field noise out there for him to make it.
I agree.
Then
There's
you
a lot
also
of
got to
noise
look at
there.
that schedule they got.
Wow.
It's not even close. It's bad.
Next, down our SEC brethren is the Auburn Tigers. Brian Harsin in year 2 with 6-7 in year 1. Does Brian Harsin fake it or does he make it?
I'm gonna say fake it. I mean, I know it's 6-7 because usually Auburn don't put out like great like almost every year. I'm gonna say he's gonna make it.
So he's going to make it?
He's gonna make it.
James, is our SEC brethren going to fake it or make it?
Oh, he's fake. They just fired their AD last night.
I saw that.
They
You actually sent
fired
that over to me last night.
I sent you Tennessee's athletic director talking mad junk about
Absolutely.
Auburn.
If you haven't, I'll see if I have it pulled up right here. This is the tweet from Tennessee athletic director Danny White last night.
We have converted this man so fast. I love it.
Yes, he is going to be a fun watch on Twitter. Let me see. It's right here somewhere. Why can I not find it? Of course. Basically, congratulating him for getting out of the dumpster fire that is Auburn.
I got you, fam. I got you right now.
I appreciate you.
Congratulations to A. Green for getting the heck out of a crazy situation for greener pastures! ! I admire how you managed that chaos with class and integrity. Look forward to seeing you in the next chapter. That is from the current athletic director from the University of Tennessee, tweeting that publicly.
And here's the hard part. I think Brian Harsin is a great coach.
Yes.
But he just walked into a dumpster fire. I don't know how much of that was, brought by him. But it's just not a good situation there.
Yep, that Yellowwood money is undefeated there in Auburn. That Golden Flake and Yellowwood money.
So, all right, I got a couple of off the radar here ones. Cal head coach Justin Wilcox in his 6th season is 26-28. Is he going to fake it or is he going to make it?
I want to say fake it.
James?
They don't care enough about football. He's going to make it.
Okay. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it. I think Cal has a 3-9 or a 4-8 season, and they move on from him.
So, Chris, what was your reason for that? He's gonna fake it. Do you have a reason for that?
Oh, we might have lost Chris.
I heard him there for a second. That's why I said that.
Because when the last time has California, like the Golden Bears, ever like put out like a great performance? It's been like years.
Shout out Marshawn Lynch and riding the golf cart over the field.
Who else was the quarterback during that time?
A. Ron Rodgers.
A. Ron, exactly.
That would be A. Ron Rodgers.
Yes, the A. Ron from Chico State.
Next, we have another Pac-12 team. And James, I will believe you. They don't care enough about football here. Colorado and Carl Doyle is going into his 3rd season. He's 8-10. Does he fake it or does he make it?
Damn. 8-10.
Now I will say this. McIntyre had one great season, and then he let that thing slide so bad.
Trust me, I wrote a whole article about it. I know what happened in Colorado.
I know.
I don't want to say he's going to fake it.
Oh, I hope he doesn't make it. For Colorado's sake, he doesn't need to make it. The worst thing that ever happened is Colorado doesn't care enough about football, and they let Mel Tucker leave.
Exactly. He went to
That
Michigan
was the
State.
worst thing that Colorado did is not care enough about football and let Mel Tucker walk.
Yep.
And look what Mel Tucker's doing now in Michigan State.
I think it turned out pretty well for him.
I
Hey,
think he's doing pretty
hey,
good.
Sean, I have a question. How's Michigan doing against Mel Tucker and Michigan State?
Since Michigan State, Michigan has been losing, and that's
okay, I just
very
want to make sure.
embarrassing.
When you asked, you said, "I wonder how he's doing." I was just curious. You would know. I was just curious.
No, I was saying like, okay,
And just
because
Phil Fulmer could have chosen
like no
him
one
instead of
ever
Jeremy
thought like
Pruitt.
Mel Tucker would turn Michigan State around because like Mark D'Antonio, but looks like Michigan State is like. Hey.
I don't understand why people slept on Mel Tucker. Do you realize the last two head coaches he worked under were Nick Saban and Kirby Smart?
Wow.
Keep telling me more about this. That the coach that could have been again.
Oh, hey, James,
I've got as a Tennessee fan, I have
James,
seen this.
how close did Tennessee come to hiring Mel Tucker?
They interviewed him, and they chose Jeremy Pruitt instead.
Okay, all right. I was just curious.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, okay. He goes down the long list of Patterson, Chip Kelly. I forget who it was instead of Butch Jones. It would have been Charlie Strong.
Well, you know what? That might be just a shove because Charlie Strong went to Texas.
That was a push. Yeah. But there's a whole laundry list of great head coaches that could have been Tennessee coaches, but we chose the other guy instead.
I'm not going to go through the rest of my list. I'm gonna touch on two here. Florida State and Mike Norvell is going to his third year. He's 8-13. Is he going to fake it or is he going to make it this year?
Looks like he's going to fake it because I don't know what happened with Florida State when Jimbo Fisher left.
I know what happened to it. You hired Willie Taggart. That's what happened. You hired Willie Taggart when Jimbo Fisher left.
All I can say is welcome the number coach of the Florida State Seminoles, Coach Deion Sanders next year.
Right. All I have to say is when Primetime says, "Hey, I'm ready to come home," I'd hate to be the head coach at Florida State. Yep. That's all I have to say. When the mothership calls home, I would hate to be whoever's the head coach of Florida State.
I mean, if you couldn't get Deion Sanders as your alum to be a head coach, that says something about your program.
I don't think he's ready to leave Jackson State. I don't think he's ready to leave yet. That's why I said when he's ready, I hate to be the head coach of Florida State because you gone.
He gone. It doesn't matter if you win the national championship. You gone.
I did have Jim Harbaugh for reasons that we talked about, and Sean, I don't think you think he's going to be fired, so we're going to let that one pass.
No.
The next Dan Mullen.
And that's James and I have the same feeling. He flirted with leaving, and now that he's back, I'm not sure how good they're going to be. But their cupcake schedule in September is so soft that he's not going to have a chance to get out to a slow start.
It's what, Caleb?
Soft?
Yeah, it's SAWFT.
SAWFT. Soft? And the last one is Dino Babers at Syracuse is going into his 7th season. He's 29-43.
Oh,
he done. He gone.
He
gone.
Hey, who said that? It was one of the baseball broadcasters that said that from the White Sox. He said,
Hurt Hawk.
Yes, the Hawk.
Hawk Harrelson. He gone.
Exactly. He gone.
He gone.
I should add that for my ringtone. Oh,
he gone.
What was another one? It was about Utah, the Utah Utes, about their playoff hopes.
Oh, that's going to happen. Do not sleep on the Utah Utes.
So I have a friend of mine who is religious about Utah football.
Nice one.
I do mean this. My worry for Utah is not that they can't win out, but who else in that conference is going to win?
Nobody. That's the reason why they're going to win it.
Not even USC.
Well,
not even close.
You opened up with Florida, and that's fine. But if Florida goes 5-7, is that still going to be a quality win?
If you don't lose lose any games, they have trouble letting you not in. Okay.
Cincinnati made it undefeated, and they played a couple of teams, so it's not like
Utah. You don't need to win a lot here. Okay.
My thing is, I just don't know how many quality games Utah is going to win, only because of who they're surrounded by.
I get it, but I still think they're going to.
And also the strength of the conference.
So
you beat Oregon. They'll still think Oregon is a name. They'll still think USC is enough name that
I don't understand why everybody thinks USC is going to win in year one. That's what I don't understand.
I think people overhype them because a new regime.
Lincoln Riley.
I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Slow down yet.
All right. If I take out Nebraska and Northwestern, Shawn, what one game are you watching today?
I want to watch the Hawaii game.
Yes.
Damn it.
I already know what your answer is going to be. It's going to be Timmy Chang in Hawaii.
Yes, because I just came back from there and I got to see the dilapidation known as Aloha Stadium at the swap meet. I got to see where these guys are going to be playing at the next 10 years. Because if that rail project's any indication on construction in Hawaii, that's going to take forever. So,
Forever.
Exactly. And I want to watch Timmy Chang. I love Timmy Chang. I loved him at Hawaii when June Jones.
Shawn, I told you that was his guy.
That was his guy.
Shawn, I told you that was James' guy, was Timmy Chang.
Yes, you did. Told me that.
I am also going to be watching the fighting fullback Clark Lays go to Vanderbilt.
You mean go to Hawaii
and play Vanderbilt? So we will all, I guess, be watching the same game.
Yeah, at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, at 10:30 at night. Absolutely.
It's supposed to come on at 9:30 on the CBS Sports Network because like Hawaii's like 5 hours behind.
6. They are 6 hours behind, sir. I know that for a fact.
Speaking of, if we're doing conferences out of whack, I'm voting for Hawaii in the ACC.
Oh my God!
If regionality no longer matters, I would like Hawaii in the ACC.
Oh God, the flights would be awful. It was a 9.5-hour direct flight from Knoxville to Hawaii.
So you're saying from like Charleston, Charlottesville, Virginia, and Syracuse, New York, that's going to be even a longer flight?
Yes.
Oh. Shout out Hawaii in the ACC. That's all.
Right. And as a matter of fact, I was looking at the head coach Timmy Chang because I saw like he had like several records, the passing records, all-time passing yards, and that was put by KTM in 2011.
He preceded Colt Brennan as their starting quarterback.
Yes, and he was also the Hawaii state record in high school.
Yes,
he was. It's a not just a one thing. He was.
No,
he is, as I have been told by Hawaiians there. He's one of them.
He has that same Colt status in Hawaii that Colt Brennan had. And when he passed away, that whole community mourned for him.
Yes,
but he has that same Colt history, status.
They still have the old logo. They didn't use the new Hawaii logo. They used the old green and black. They never
changed it.
Yeah, they did.
They did. They did again. They went back to the old H and the rainbow.
So,
right. Wow. That's the first time I ever watched a full game of Hawaii.
I agree. The last time I watched a Hawaii game was when Georgia absolutely demolished them in the Sugar Bowl. Would be the last time I watched a full Hawaii game.
So I want you to take a guess on who the platinum members of the Hawaiian Football Hall of Fame, because yes, I'm that much of a degenerate. I went to this place.
That means I'm going to have no idea. Thanks, James.
No, you're going to love this. There literally is June Jones.
I remember June Jones.
Shout out June Jones.
There's also the freaking the head coach of BYU,
Kalani
Sitake, and Jim Harbaugh.
Wow.
What?
Damn.
So what I'm hearing is
Jim
Harbaugh for next Hawaii coach. Yes. Shawn, you'll trade Jim Harbaugh tomorrow.
I would love to watch that.
Like what?
Love that.
We are going to trade Jim Harbaugh. We're going to propose a trade for Jim Harbaugh tomorrow.
Yeah.
We will send you over a formal offer.
Crap around here if that happens.
I would love this. Oh God, give me the chaos. Nom 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 nom. I'd be eating it with a spoon. I'd be eating like freaking what's his name for the Cowboys? Ezekiel Elliott. I'd be eating all that up. Yeah, just nom nom it.
Hey, right. That was a great meme when he did that.
Wait a minute,
I have one more question, fellas. this obviously isn't the full week one. What are we eating today? Are we doing anything special? James, you're having like drive-through food, so you don't count.
I don't count.
Shawn, are you eating anything today? Anything special?
I ain't doing anything special. Only thing I can do is just watch all the great games, hopefully.
I'm just wondering if I have enough monitors to watch everything at once.
And looks like we have a question, by the way. Someone did ask a question. Let me pull it up. And the question he asked was from Earl Campbell. Says, do you think Alabama will bounce back this season with a new...
Earl Campbell?
Earl Campbell watches this show?
First of all, can I say something real fast?
Sure.
Was Alabama in the national championship game last year?
There was a rebuilding year. Okay.
You don't bounce back from coming from the national championship game. That's not a bounce back.
I understand this question because you got rid of your offensive line coach. To me, your problem was your offensive coordinator and Bill O'Brien. That was the issue for Alabama last year. Tell me why we're running on 1st and goal from the 5. We're running a levels concept.
Yeah.
Why?
That makes no
Bill
sense.
O'Brien's a terrible coach.
Why? Why are we running a levels concept at the 5-yard line?
Because this is Canadian football and there's 30 yards in the end.
Look, James, you love Canadian football. Don't hate. That's what got you through the offseason, okay? That's okay. I saw a CFL game on last night, James. I'm proud of you.
Yo, don't be hating that. The Calgary, that was BC and Saskatchewan. Calgary and Winnipeg was an awesome game on Thursday, so do not.
I saw a Canadian football game last night on ESPN, and I thought about you. It's like, oh, James is probably watching this. And instead, I turned to the high school football game and watched that.
Hashtag Cody Pajaro from the University of Nevada. Love it.
Instead, I watched the high school football game.
You did.
I would as well. Chris, did you say something? I don't think he. Chris, did you say
CFL game?
Say that again?
Instead of a CFL football?
I think there's. Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can barely hear you.
You're in and out. Kind of make out what you're saying.
What's wrong with CFL football, man? It's got 12 players.
Okay.
I tried watching, but it just don't feel the same because
it's not.
Because it isn't. It's a game. It's just a little hit. It's a little hit to get you through July, okay? In August. It's a small little hit, all right?
We watch CFL for the same reason we'd watch the Arena Football League. It just gets you through, okay?
I watch Arena Football. I'll watch that.
What about the USFL?
Right, but we just watch it. So you're telling me you'd rather watch an Arena Football game than a college football game?
No, I'm going to watch a college football game.
But that's my point. It just gets you through the lonely months.
Gets you through it. Exactly.
Just gets you through the lonely
This is
months.
helping my addiction, sir. All right? Do not respect my addiction.
Oh my God.
I help James addiction. I tell him James on YouTube to go watch, okay?
But honestly,
in all seriousness,
Alabama, I don't think it was the O-line issue. It was their secondary. They got torched last year. For Nick Saban to be a secondary guru, their secondary was awful. I mean, freaking Cedric Tillman's still running on that team. I mean, that's that. You let Tennessee stay in the game because their secondary was that poor.
Arkansas ran all over them last year. I think it's more the offensive coordinator. I don't like Bill O'Brien. I don't like the way he calls plays.
I'm not even thought he was the elite head coach anyway, especially when he was at Houston.
No, he was awful.
John Minchie
bad they
got
are
hurt.
right now.
John Minchie got hurt in the SC championship game. You can ask James this. I've said it in a recording live. I will say it to anybody that listens to me. If Jamison Williams doesn't tear his ACL, Alabama wins the national title game, and Jamison Williams probably goes for 250 yards. James, how many times have I said that to you?
Tons.
Let's just be real about it, okay?
All right, guys, we got to wrap this up soon. We got game day about starting, so we got to watch the Corso.
Jadeveon Clowneys jersey retired by South Carolina.
Yes, next week when Georgia State comes in, South Carolina is retiring Jadeveon Clowneys' number 7 jersey. Shout out to the poor Michigan running back who got absolutely lit up.
God. And you know what? And I feel bad that that's getting buried by the mascot discussion down there in South Carolina.
Oh,
So-
Lord.
Shouts out, Cock Commander.
So, okay. Who has the best second year? Give me a second year head coach. James, not named Josh Heupel.
Oh!
You can't use Josh Heupel. Give me a second year head coach you're looking at. It can be in any conference. Sean, do you have a second year head coach you're looking at?
I can't think of one as my head right now. Still,
You got Shane
Shane
Bieber
Bieber.
at South Carolina.
Not gonna be him.
You got Sark in year 2.
Brian Harson.
Brian Harson in year 2. But James, who are you looking at in year 2?
Outside of the obvious choice here, because there's only one choice. There's only one.
You're
real
right.
choice.
It's Shane Bieber. I don't know why you're even.
Oh, do not. I mean, freaking start that hype machine. All right. I think Sark's going to have a good year there at Texas. I mean, I think they're going to be a little bit more tougher than they were last year, and I think
Bo
Davis. Exactly. Bo Davis got in that ass, which was great. Sorry for cursing a little bit, but I had to because that's just how that worked. But I feel like they're going to be a lot more mentally tougher this year, and I think their schedule is going to be a little bit easier, even though they got Alabama. They're going to get crushed by Alabama. That's going to happen. But I think after that, I think the Big 12 is a little bit more down this year. So I feel like they have a bounce back year.
Earmuffs for me. James, earmuffs. Thank you. I am going to watch Josh Heupel in Tennessee. I do think you're good, James. I do think that Tennessee is going to be improved this year. Tennessee needs to learn how to score in the second half because they start out, they're up on you 21-28 nothing at the end of the first quarter, and they somehow lose, 41-38. So if Tennessee can score in all 4 quarters, Josh Heupel's got something going up there. Hendon Hooker, after they finally figured the quarterback out last year, and that team just looks so much better. I said this to James. I'm so glad Tennessee didn't win 9 or 10 games last year, because if Tennessee wins 9 or 10 games last year, Tennessee has playoff expectations this year, and you run Josh Heupel out of town after year 3. I do think there is a chance that Tennessee finishes second in the SEC ahead of Kentucky.
Oh, no, we're going to beat Kentucky. That's what we do.
But then you still finish behind them, so it's a moot point. Anyways,
They have an easier schedule. They have an easier schedule. We don't play Georgia and Alabama each year.
But I'm going to watch Tennessee this year.
Kentucky.
We always beat Kentucky every year. Doesn't matter.
And Vanderbilt, then lose to everybody else, like South Carolina.
Hey, no, we beat South Carolina's ass last year.
Hey, how'd that Georgia game go for you, James?
Hey, we scored. Hey, we scored the first opening
That's
drive
very true.
touchdown
You
on you
did score
guys.
the first touchdown. That's very true.
We did. So get off me.
That's very true. Yes, sir. I apologize.
We lost. We lost. But
Let me take my step back now, okay? I'll take my step back. I apologize.
Yes, I apologize.
small victories, all right? We had to get a moral victory there, okay? We're champions of life.
Playoffs? We talking about playoffs? But no, in all seriousness,
Wait a minute.
if Tennessee wins 9 or 10 games last year, Josh Heupel's
Wait
run
a
out by
second.
year 3 when he goes 8-4 for back-to-back years.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute. Kentucky.
Kentucky has an easier schedule always. That's why they can finish ahead of us because they have an easier schedule.
All right. Well, outside of playing Alabama, Kentucky still plays everybody else.
Kentucky's not going to finish second.
I
No.
think Tennessee has a chance to finish second in the SEC this year.
Will Levis, okay.
Behind Georgia.
Everybody getting on the Will Levis hype train. Will Levis is not that good.
I don't see him as a first-round quarterback.
Oh boy.
He's not.
You
I
got
gotta
beat
see
out by
more of him.
37th year redshirt senior Sean Clifford at Penn State, okay? By the way, Penn State could have used Will Levis last year. Wow.
Amazing. That's all I gotta say. Amazing. I gotta look at
Oh,
Kentucky's
my God.
schedule.
It's soft. It's baby poop soft.
It's not quite as soft as Michigan,
but it's pretty soft.
it's pretty soft.
September for Michigan is kind of soft if you think
It's
about
kind
it.
of soft.
Kind of soft. It
Kind
is.
of soft. It's softer than a damn cotton ball.
I was gonna say soft as Sherman at first.
Oh
Well,
no, it's 10 ply, bud.
man, you can sit on that thing and your butt wouldn't hurt. Man.
Okay, they start off with Miami of Ohio.
Right.
Then they
Shout
play
out Red
Florida.
Hawks.
Yep.
Then they play who?
Florida.
Who are you talking about? Kentucky.
Kentucky.
I thought we were talking about Michigan
Okay.
soft
No.
schedule.
No. This is how soft their schedule is. Okay, then they play Florida for second game out. Then they play Youngstown State.
Shout out to the Penguins.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Penguins.
Northern Illinois.
Shout out Huskies.
Then they start the SEC schedule with their out of conference game, which with their West game with his Ole Miss.
Well, that's gonna be a good game.
And then they play Carolina. Then they play Mississippi State.
That's gonna be a good. Shout out to the Pirate. If
Pirate,
you know,
Pirate.
you know.
Yep. Then they play Tennessee in Neyland, which means they're going to lose that game. And then they play Missouri.
Because they play Georgia the second to last week of the year.
Yes, they do. Then they get killed by Georgia, and then they play Louisville.
I can see that happening.
For the SEC standards, that's soft.
First of all, I would like to point out I saw something
for SEC standards. That's soft.
Okay,
I saw something. Go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say. I mean, I know you just ran off Kentucky's schedule, but you still have them behind Tennessee in the standards at the end of the year.
Yes.
I just don't see it.
Okay. Speaking of Kentucky, I saw on SEC Network, somebody had them going 11-1.
I watched that in Hawaii and was like, what are they smoking?
Being to Tennessee. Not Georgia.
Tennessee still, baby.
Tennessee.
Yes.
That's a damn moral victory if I've ever seen one, okay?
That was some migraine copium.
Thanks, guys.
He had him beating Georgia, for God's sakes. I was like, oh, what world is he smoking that crap?
Isn't that game in Athens, too?
Yes. That's in Athens.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, by the way, Georgia lost all that talent on defense last year and still have a top draft pick next year, too.
Yes.
And linebacker.
It's disgusting.
Kirby Smart's just dumb when it comes to defense.
Oh, my God.
So.
Okay, it is 10:52. By the way, let's do. Well, since it's week one, since there's no player props, we're gonna do something a little different with the over/under totals with the point spread. So usually, like you see like a touchdown, but we're gonna do it with the points to make it like interesting.
Okay.
So, for example, Northwestern versus Nebraska, which is like the big game. So according to Vegas, they believe the total points is 51. Now I got to ask you guys, do you think that's going to go over or under?
James?
I am starting the official unders club this year.
And
I'm going to hammer the under on this game because I think both defenses are much better than their offenses.
Not necessarily the defense better than the offense. I just don't know who's going to score the points for Northwestern. So are you going to tell me Nebraska is going to win 52-3? So I am going to go the under.
I'll go under. I just don't believe in both offenses anyway. So I think it'll be
Welcome back, Chris. You can hear him again.
Yay, Chris is back.
Chris. Yeah.
Thanks. It'll be much lower. It'll be much lower on the scoreboard. Trust me.
Gotcha.
Would anybody be surprised if this was like a 17-13 game?
No, it's Big Ten football, baby.
Anybody.
It's Big Ten football in December, baby.
Well, it's week 0, so we don't. But here's the thing. Here's why I don't like betting over-unders in the first week or two. You don't know what these offenses are.
Exactly. That's my concern is for week 1.
So I'm with James. If we're doing the unders, if I had to bet just blindly, 75% of what I'm going to bet is under.
All right, here's the next one. UConn and Utah State, 59.5.
Chris, what you got?
Way too much.
I say under. I don't believe in UConn's offense at all.
I actually don't believe in Utah State's offense. So I'm going to hammer the under as well.
I don't trust UConn to score more than 10 points. So you're asking Utah State to put up 50? Do I think they can do it? Yes. Do I think they're going to get enough help from UConn to make it to 59? No.
We all agree that's under. The next one, Nevada and New Mexico. Total points is 48.
First of all, thank you for pronouncing the University of Nevada correctly.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for that.
Look, Bougie, sit up, shut up over there, okay? All right. Anyways, I think for me to bet the over, it would have to be like 31 here.
Yep.
Again, I don't New quarterback at Nevada, new head coach at New Mexico. Does anybody have any faith in anybody to score points here?
Nope.
Okay, then I'm going to go the under.
Unders club right now. Let's go.
And then
I take the under on that one.
And then finally is Vanderbilt and Hawaii.
The Fighting Clark
54 and a
Legs.
half.
Okay, I'm going to leave this off. And James, this is in honor of you. And Timmy Chang, who's going to throw the ball for 759,000 yards tonight. I'm going to take the over.
The only reason why I'm taking the under is who is going to score points for Vanderbilt?
It doesn't matter. If Hawaii's throwing the ball for 79,000 yards, they can put up 60.
I don't know if they can score 50. I don't know if they can score 50 burger. That's the problem.
Then fine. Then I just need Vanderbilt to score 10 points. I have faith in them to do that.
I don't have faith in them to do that. That's why I'm hammering the under. Even though I love Timmy.
I guess we're just going to have difference of opinions here. Chris, what you got? Uh-oh. I think
no.
I'm taking the under.
He said
I heard under.
Under. We heard under.
I heard under.
I take the under.
Because I don't know
what you got?
I said under.
Under, okay.
Because
so we have one over, and that's me on Vanderbilt and Hawaii.
You're putting way too much faith into Vanderbilt, who lost to East Tennessee State University.
Hey, now, East Tennessee State made the FCS playoffs, okay? Don't hate on them. By the way, that was
you think I'm going to hate on the Bucks? You think I'm really going to hate on Johnson City, Tennessee?
That was the first SEC team to lose to an FCS team since Jacksonville State beat Kentucky?
Arkansas, I thought.
No. Ole Miss?
It was one of those.
Jacksonville State in 2015. I don't remember if it was Kentucky or if it was Ole Miss. I think it was Ole Miss.
Shouts out to recently retired head coach Randy Sanders, who now gave up to George Quarles, a.k.a. the East Tennessee high school football legend, who went to my alma mater in high school. So,
speaking of Jacksonville State and their head coach, Rich Rodriguez, do you know everybody can thank their lucky stars? The Miami Dolphins trainer did not clear Drew Brees. Otherwise, Alabama would have hired Rich Rodriguez instead of Nick Saban.
Thanks.
So, shout out to the Miami Dolphins trainer, because now Alabama is still not a train wreck. Because they were your mom and dad's 5-7 Alabama team.
They were, and it was great. I miss the Shula days.
So
I miss the Mike Shula days so much.
Every Dolphins fan says that.
So that's
he
just
was
true.
like a Tom Landry.
It is. It is. It was this close, and they had to go with Dante Culpepper instead.
Hey, shout out Dante Culpepper, okay?
Right.
He had everybody get your roll on, okay?
Yeah, I've heard of Dante Culpepper in a while. I wonder what he's doing right now.
He was the quarterback when the Vikings had Randy Moss and Chris Carter.
And he still couldn't score points.
Still couldn't get enough points on the board.
Yeah, that's tragic. All right. So, like I said, this is College Football Convo Through the Tunnel. This is the first week. So, we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also go on our website at sportsforamerica.com to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. And this will also be in audio. So, like, if you're traveling on the road, you can also listen to it as there as well. So, there you have it. So, enjoy your week one of college football. So, like I said, it's probably not going to be a lot of a high scoring game in week one, to be exact.
All the overs are going to hit, and we're all just going to go broke. Hey,
don't be mad. It's football, okay? Just be happy the long national nightmare is over again, and now our Saturdays are complete.
You are right. We made it, and now we can start hating people for real reasons, like what team they root for.
Absolutely. Exactly. Amen. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. See you
guys next week.
See you, fellas. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, in the broadcast.